Before a sugar glider shows pain, their fur speaks first. Most owners look at the eyes, the appetite, or the movement. But experienced keepers know this. The fur is the earliest warning system your glider has. When a sugar glider is healthy, their coat tells a very specific story. It's smooth. It lies flat against the body. It has a natural sheen, not oily, not dry, not puffed. This isn't about beauty. This is biology. Fur condition reflects nutrition, stress level, grooming behavior, hydration, and overall health, often before symptoms become obvious. A relaxed, well-balanced glider grooms normally. They don't overlick. They don't neglect grooming. The fur stays even, soft, and aligned. But when something is off, the coat changes. You may notice fur that looks dull or rough, slight separation or uneven texture, areas that appear fluffy or puffed without cold, or fur that looks wet, sticky, or overworked. These are not random changes. They are signals. Stress alone can disrupt grooming patterns. Diet imbalance can remove the natural oils that keep fur healthy. Early illness can quietly show up as coat changes before weight loss or lethargy appears. This is why fur reading matters. You don't need lab tests to notice the first signs. You need observation, because a sugar glider cannot tell you they feel off, but their fur will. And once you learn how to read it, you stop reacting late and start caring early. Smooth transition pause. In the next part, we'll break down what different fur textures actually mean and how to tell normal variation from a real warning sign. If you look closely at a sugar glider's fur, it's not just soft or fluffy. It's a biological report card. Healthy fur tells a story, and once you learn how to read it, you can spot problems weeks or even months before symptoms appear. A healthy sugar glider's coat should look even and dense, not patchy, not thin, and never dull. When light hits the fur, it should reflect slightly, not shiny like oil, but alive. That subtle glow comes from proper hydration, balanced nutrition, and low stress levels. Now pay attention to texture. Run your eyes over the fur. Healthy fur lies smoothly, following the natural direction of the body. If the coat looks spiky, separated, or constantly puffed, that's not cuteness. That's often stress, discomfort, or early nutritional imbalance. Another major indicator is symmetry. Healthy fur loss almost never happens evenly. So if you start seeing thinning on one side, the chest, the neck, or behind the ears, that's your early warning system activating. This is where many owners miss the signs. They think, maybe it's just shedding. Maybe it's the weather. But sugar gliders don't shed like dogs or cats. Uneven fur changes usually point to excessive grooming due to stress, hormonal shifts, lack of protein or calcium balance, or environmental issues like temperature and humidity. And here's a critical detail most people don't notice. Healthy fur smells neutral. Not sweet, not musky, not sour. If the fur starts holding odor, that's often linked to improper diet, hormonal imbalance, or chronic stress affecting skin oils. Fur isn't decoration. It's communication. Your glider doesn't complain. They don't limp early. They don't cry when something is off. They change their fur, and if you know how to read it, you'll understand what they're trying to tell you, long before it turns into a health crisis. You don't just look at a sugar glider's fur, you read it with your hands. When owners talk about fur health, they usually focus on appearance. But experienced glider keepers know this truth. A texture tells the real story. A healthy sugar glider's fur should feel soft but springy, dense, not thin, smooth, not oily, warm, not cold or brittle. When you gently stroke a glider and the fur bounces back, that's a sign of proper nutrition, good hydration, stable metabolism, low chronic stress. But when fur feels rough, sticky, or flat, it often points to hidden problems. Let's break it down. If the fur feels greasy or waxy, especially around the chest or tail base, this can indicate excess fat intake, poor protein balance, hormonal imbalance, or an environment that's too warm and poorly ventilated. If the fur feels dry, brittle, or dusty, that often signals dehydration, lack of variety in diet, vitamin imbalance, or early signs of nutritional deficiency. Now here's something most owners miss. Density matters more than length. Some gliders naturally have shorter fur. That's normal. But thin fur, where you can easily see skin when parting it, can suggest chronic stress, overgrooming, social tension in the colony, or long-term dietary issues. And stress doesn't always look dramatic. A glider can be eating, playing, gliding, yet still show stress through fur quality alone. That's why experienced keepers don't wait for symptoms like lethargy or weight loss. They catch changes early through touch. Fur is not decoration. It's a living report of what's happening inside the body. At first glance, fur problems look cosmetic. But in sugar gliders, fur changes are early warning systems. When the coat loses its shine, when it starts clumping, thinning, or standing unevenly, your glider isn't just messy. They're communicating stress, imbalance, or internal strain. Dull or dry fur is often the first sign of nutritional imbalance. Low-quality protein, incorrect calcium to phosphorus ratio, or vitamin deficiency doesn't show up overnight. It shows up slowly, through the fur. Patchy areas, thinning spots, or uneven texture can signal overgrooming, usually linked to anxiety, loneliness, or environmental stress. This isn't misbehavior. It's a coping response. Fur that looks greasy or sticky may point to poor cage hygiene, excess humidity, or an environment that prevents proper self-cleaning. Sugar gliders are naturally clean animals. When the fur looks unclean, the environment often is. Yellowish staining around the chest, belly, or cloaca can be a sign of scent overproduction, commonly seen in stressed or hormonally active gliders, especially intact males. This doesn't mean something is wrong with the glider. It means something is out of balance. And when fur changes come with lethargy, weight loss, or behavior shifts, that's when fur stops being a signal and becomes a symptom. Your glider's fur is never random. It reflects diet, stress, bonding, environment, and health, often before serious problems appear. If you learn to read it early, you don't just maintain appearance, you prevent decline. And this leads to the next question every owner should ask. How do we restore healthy fur and keep it that way? If you know how to read it, your sugar glider's fur becomes an early warning system, long before serious problems appear. Healthy fur should look smooth, dense, and evenly groomed. Not perfect, but consistent. When fur starts to change, it's never random. Dull coat, clumping, or greasy patches often point to diet imbalance, especially protein or calcium issues. Patchy thinning can signal stress, loneliness, or environmental discomfort. Overgroomed areas may indicate anxiety, boredom, or lack of enrichment. And fur that feels dry or brittle can be linked to dehydration or poor humidity control. The key is timing. Don't wait until fur loss becomes obvious. Subtle changes, texture, shine, grooming patterns are where responsible owners act early. This is why daily observation matters more than occasional handling. You don't need to touch your glider every time. You just need to notice. Small adjustments, improving diet balance, adding enrichment, reducing noise, stabilizing temperature, can reverse fur issues before they become medical problems. And if fur changes persist or worsen, that's your sign to consult an exotic veterinarian. Fur doesn't lie, but it also doesn't replace professional diagnosis. Before we end, remember this. A healthy coat is not about looks. It's about comfort, nutrition, emotional safety, and trust. If this helped you understand your glider better, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another glider owner who wants to care deeper. Not just feed and clean. Your glider can't speak, but their fur is already talking, and if you know how to listen,